In this video, I thought I would do something like a day in the life, just for anybody who might be interested in a day in the life of a solicitor, or certainly a day in the life of this solicitor. I can't say that I am typical by any means, but I suppose anybody who might have an interest in doing law or having a career as a solicitor might have some interest in this video. So in this video, I'm going to take a look at a day in the life. Now, today is the 18th of September, 2020. 18th of September, and I want to just hold this, or sort out this video, or sort out this camera stand which is slipping. So I'm going to go through my typical day, and the time at the moment is 6:30. 6:30, I'm in the office here in Enfield, so I'm in since about 6:15. My day typically starts at 6. I leave the house around 6, between 6 and 6:15. I'm in the office between 6:15 and 6:30. It's around 6:30 now. I work then I have a time management technique called the Pomodoro technique, and I work in batches of 25 minutes. So for 25 minutes, I work flat out and focus on whatever I'm working on, and then I take a break. I have a timer on my Google Chrome browser. There's a little Pomodoro, a little image or symbol of a tomato on it, and it actually times me. So I work for 25 minutes, I take a break of 5 minutes then when it tells me, and then I start again. And I find working in batches like this very, very useful, because a long day that might be stretching ahead of you with a lot of work to do, etc., etc., is easier to break down, and is easier to function if you break it down into smaller chunks and small steps. So the first 25 minutes, I start around 6:30 and I'll work till 5 to 7 or whatever, take a break then and take my first coffee. But the first 25 minutes in my day is social media marketing. That involves distributing content that I've made, such as videos on the likes of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and other social media platforms. Twice a week then I produce and publish a video on YouTube, so that'll be Wednesday and Saturday. In fact, I do it 3 days a week, because I do Wednesday, Saturday and Sunday. So that's what I do on those days. But every other day, 25 minutes in the morning from 6:30 or 6:25 or thereabouts, for 25 minutes, it's social media marketing. And that's how I build my business and generate leads, generate clients and build my business. So that's what I do. So I'm going to cut it there, and I'll be back then later on to explain what I'm doing at the various stages through the day. I think it may be interesting. Okay, so it's 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. in the morning, and I'm having my first coffee, and I've done the very first Pomodoro, and I'm taking the first break from the Pomodoro technique. As I say, it's 25 minutes of work and 5 minutes of a break, and then after 3 or 4 Pomodoros you get a long break of 15 minutes. That's how I operate. So the first Pomodoro is the social media marketing, which I engage in. From now then till around 9 o'clock, I'll be working on emails that I would have received overnight, and I'll be having a look at my diary for today. So I have a policy of having 3 consultations a day, and I have 2 by Zoom today and 1 in the office here. So I'll prepare for those. I'll have a look at the notes, the email notes that I would have received, and any contracts, anything that would have come in relation to those consultations, so that I'm prepared. I'll have 3 consultations today, and I have 3 every day. I'm booked out for the next 10 days, actually next week and into the following week. The reason I only do 3 a day is because I want to ensure that I can focus and concentrate on whatever it is I'm dealing with in those consultations. I want to ensure that I'm prepared, but I also want to ensure that I'm not overwhelmed with consultations, and that my time isn't completely taken up dealing with meeting people or doing Zoom conferences or phone video or phone conferences or phone consultations, because there's other work I need to do as well. Other work would include issuing contracts for sale of houses, checking title documents for the purchase of houses, personal injury claims, litigation, wills and other stuff that's going to crop up from time to time. So I will work away now on the emails and have a look at the stuff in relation to the consultations, which I'll have later today. And at 9 o'clock then my staff will come in, whoever is on today will be in, and we will work away then and register. There's 2 sales of houses that closed or completed there yesterday, so we have to ensure that the registration of those transactions go off to the Property Registration Authority. And there is other stuff as well. I'm negotiating at the moment a personal injury settlement situation that'll probably take a little bit of time, and there is other stuff to be done then as well, including replies to particulars in a personal injury claim and various other bits and pieces. So that's basically how I'll operate today. And obviously I'm going to have lunch around 1 o'clock, close from 1 to 2, and then I quit at 5. As I say, I work in Pomodoro, use the Pomodoro technique. I work in intense batches of 25 minutes with 5-minute breaks. So 7 o'clock now, going to get stuck into the emails and preparation for the consultations later on, and then have a look at, there's an auction coming up there, actually, an auction of a property, and I have to review the title documents and the contracts and so on in relation to that property for a fella. So that's going to take a bit of time as well. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so it's 1 o'clock there now, it's lunchtime, and I closed the door in the office and I have my lunch. I spent the morning dealing with emails, preparing for consultations, had a couple of consultations, reviewed title documents for a property, dealt with correspondence, had a couple of phone calls, dealt with maternity issue, a GDPR issue, an issue that might end up in the High Court to do with the unfair competition, and a few other bits and pieces. Obviously the property situation, I reviewed a couple of properties that are coming up for auction. They're at a BidX1 auction and another auction shortly. Obviously the documents are all online, so they have to be reviewed, and people will be very, very stupid to go ahead and purchase a property at an auction without having the legal documents looked over first. So that's really what I've done this morning. It's 1 o'clock, I'm going to have the lunch now, and then in the afternoon I have a Zoom meeting at 2 o'clock with somebody from the west of the country, and then I have a Zoom meeting at 3 o'clock with somebody from the south of the country, and then I'm going to have the usual phone calls and emails and so on from 4 to 5, and that'll be it. I'll be out of here then. Or see, okay. They decide that, and if they don't feel it's appropriate.
For us to say, I always try to be fair with people, and
yeah.
I just like the stuff she's spouting in this is
a letter that will be a threat. It's not a
yeah, I know, but some comment that you felt that the thing was fundamentally unsound and unfair, but nevertheless you're happy to have passed it or whatever. Is that it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe, by explaining why it's unfair, or by asking why, other people were not. Or maybe by saying that there are witnesses. Okay, who experienced something similar, or who have seen what happened, and they have facts that prove the opposite.
Okay, so it's 3:30 now. I'm just going to have a break and have tea, have coffee. Josephine's gone to the post office there with the post. I've had 2 consultations there between 2 and 3:30. Both to do with employment actually. And I have a few bits and pieces to do now before finishing up at 5 o'clock. I have a quotation to give on a house purchase, new buyer, and obviously be hoping to get that business. And I have some emails to respond to. There's 5 or 6 emails there that I need to deal with. And I like to try and empty my email inbox before I go every day. It's not always possible, but that's what I try to do, and hopefully I'll get to do that. So I've got to make the coffee now and have my peanut butter and banana and Ryvita, the secret to my success. I just received an email there now from a gentleman who has been looking for a house for a while and who wants me to act for him. And I know from the email that he sent me that he is buying a house which I'm acting for the seller. So unfortunately I'm going to have to pass on that one, and I'm acting for the vendor. And coincidentally as well, yesterday or the day before, I had an email from a lad inquiring on behalf of his mother about an employment matter, and I knew from the circumstances that he described in the email that I probably worked for or advised the employer in a not too distant past. And I asked him about that just to confirm who the employer was, and I had indeed. So another case of coincidence and not being able to act for the person who's asking. Okay, so it's 5 o'clock, end of the day, end of the working day anyway, here in Enfield. Just looking at my emails there. So I have an email about a settlement meeting in relation to a family law situation, getting notice there too late, can't do that. I have correspondence to do with purchasing a property and trying to get replies to pre-contract inquiries. I have an authorisation there from the Personal Injuries Board in relation to a case, an Injuries Board claim, and I have another Injuries Board situation. And I'm waiting here for a few minutes for a fellow to come in just to get an affidavit signed. So that's basically it. That's what I do on a daily basis. I start around 6:15, 6:30. I finish at 5. I'll probably respond or may respond to emails when I get home, but there wouldn't be a huge priority at this stage. It's Friday evening. I am going to take the weekend off, but I work at the weekend as well, insofar as I do a bit of social media marketing. I make videos, I might write blog posts and so on. So I generate a lot of content at the weekend, and I do it at my own discretion and at my own leisure. And that content then actually helps me to build my business, generate leads, generate clients, generate the blog posts, generate the search engine results, generate videos, and so on and so forth. Allows me then to create content for the likes of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and so on and so forth. So that's it. It's a long enough day, but when you like your work and you enjoy your work, it's no big deal. So I've got to go now because I have to sign something for a fella. If you like that type of vlog type video, let me know perhaps in the comments down below, and I might do a few more of them. That sort of day in the life type of thing or vlog thing, as opposed to just law and business all the time. I will be prepared to do other stuff, and perhaps even some commentary stuff. But the likes of that video, I would appreciate if you left a comment down below and let me know whether you like it or not, and give it a thumbs up if you do, and subscribe to my channel if you do. I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers, and I think it would be a good achievement to reach 10,000 subscribers, YouTube subscribers, if I can, and I think I will actually. So anyway, thanks for your support, and as I say, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more of that type of material, or if you just want me to stick to the law and business and so on. Thanks a lot.